Welcome to Framework, the podcast that makes the NIST cybersecurity framework practical, engaging, and accessible. Whether you're a cybersecurity professional, business leader, or simply curious about how organizations defend against cyber threats, this series is for you. This podcast is inspired by a comprehensive guide to the NIST Cybersecurity Framework 2.0, a best-selling resource written by cybersecurity expert Dr. Jason Edwards and trusted by professionals worldwide. In each episode, we'll leverage a few insights from Jason's extensive book to dive deep into CSF 2.0, unpacking every function, category, and subcategory with real-world applications you can immediately use. If you're enjoying this episode and want to learn more, head over to cyberauthor.me to grab your copy of the book and access additional resources to enhance your cybersecurity journey. You can also visit baremetalcyber.com, where over 2 million people last year explored expert insights, articles, and practical tools across a wide range of cybersecurity topics. GV.OC-04, quote, cybersecurity risk is integrated into enterprise risk management. GV.OC-04 ensures that cybersecurity risk is not managed in isolation but is fully integrated into broader enterprise risk management strategies, aligning security efforts with financial, operational, and regulatory risk considerations. This subcategory belongs to the govern function within the National Institute of Standards and Technology Cybersecurity Framework version 2.0, emphasizing that cybersecurity must be treated as a critical business risk rather than solely a technical issue. Without proper integration, organizations face fragmented risk management approaches, misaligned security priorities, and insufficient executive oversight, leading to gaps in security enforcement and uncoordinated responses to cyber threats. Integrating cybersecurity risk into enterprise risk management ensures that cyber risks are assessed alongside financial, legal, operational, and reputational risks, enabling organizations to make informed decisions about security investments, risk mitigation strategies, and regulatory compliance efforts. Organizations that fully integrate cybersecurity risk management align security initiatives with business objectives, ensure cybersecurity policies support enterprise goals, and improve their ability to respond to evolving cyber threats. This approach enhances decision-making, resource allocation, and long-term security resilience. Multiple stakeholders play a role in integrating cybersecurity risk into enterprise risk management. Executive leadership and board members ensure that cybersecurity risk is prioritized in overall business risk assessments, aligning security investments with corporate objectives. Chief Information Security Officers and risk management teams work together to identify, assess, and mitigate cybersecurity risks in coordination with financial, legal, and compliance risks. Legal and regulatory compliance teams ensure that cyber risk integration aligns with industry regulations, data protection laws, and corporate governance frameworks, minimizing legal exposure and compliance violations. Cybersecurity risk is integrated into enterprise risk management through structured risk assessment frameworks, cross-functional risk governance committees, and continuous risk monitoring. This includes embedding cybersecurity risk assessments into enterprise-wide risk evaluations, aligning security policies with broader risk management frameworks, and ensuring that leadership has visibility into cybersecurity risk factors. Organizations that fail to integrate cybersecurity risk management with enterprise risk programs risk disjointed security efforts, misallocated resources, and a lack of executive engagement in cybersecurity strategy, leading to weaker risk mitigation capabilities. Several key terms define cybersecurity risk integration and its role in enterprise risk management. Enterprise risk management, ERM, is a strategic framework that ensures cybersecurity risks are assessed and managed alongside business risks, providing a unified risk management approach. Risk appetite statement defines the level of cybersecurity risk an organization is willing to accept in pursuit of its business objectives, guiding security investment decisions. The risk register is a documented list of identified cyber risks, their potential impact, and the mitigation strategies in place, allowing organizations to track and manage cybersecurity risks systematically. Third-party risk management, TPR, ensures that organizations assess and manage security risks introduced by external vendors, service providers, and supply chain partners, preventing cybersecurity vulnerabilities from external dependencies. Key risk indicators (KR) is measurable cybersecurity risk metrics that provide early warning signs of emerging threats, helping organizations adjust risk management strategies proactively. Misconceptions about integrating cybersecurity risk into enterprise risk management often lead to ineffective risk governance, lack of visibility into cyber risks, and weak security decision-making. One common issue is assuming that cybersecurity risks are only relevant to IT departments, rather than being a business-wide concern that requires executive leadership engagement. Another issue is failing to quantify cybersecurity risks, making it difficult for decision-makers to assess the financial, operational, and reputational impact of security threats. Some organizations mistakenly believe that regulatory compliance alone is sufficient for cybersecurity risk management, without recognizing that comprehensive risk integration requires continuous monitoring, threat modeling, and proactive security investment. When organizations successfully integrate cybersecurity risk into enterprise risk management, they enhance risk visibility, improve decision-making, and strengthen overall business resilience. A well-integrated cybersecurity risk management approach ensures that leadership teams have a clear understanding of cyber risks, security priorities align with business objectives, and risk mitigation efforts are proactive rather than reactive. Organizations that implement structured risk integration strategies, leverage security risk analytics, and enforce continuous cybersecurity risk assessments build a stronger, more adaptive risk management framework that enables sustainable business growth in a rapidly evolving threat landscape. Organizations that fail to integrate cybersecurity risk into enterprise risk management face significant strategic, financial, and operational vulnerabilities. Without a unified approach, cybersecurity risks are often overlooked in corporate decision-making, leading to misaligned security investments, uncoordinated risk responses, and increased exposure to cyber threats. A common risk is siloed risk management, where cybersecurity is treated separately from enterprise risks, preventing organizations from accurately assessing the financial and operational impact of cyber incidents. Another issue is insufficient leadership oversight, where executives lack visibility into cybersecurity risks, resulting in delayed responses, weak security governance, and inadequate funding for security initiatives. By integrating cybersecurity risk into enterprise risk management, organizations ensure that security considerations are part of broader business strategies, leading to stronger risk alignment, more informed decision-making, and improved resilience against cyber threats. When cybersecurity is integrated into financial risk assessments, operational continuity planning, and third-party risk evaluations, organizations can prioritize security investments based on real business impact rather than treating cybersecurity as a standalone technical concern. Organizations that adopt this approach enhance leadership engagement in cybersecurity, optimize security spending, and improve their ability to mitigate cyber risks in real time. At the partial tier, organizations lack structured cybersecurity risk management frameworks, leading to inconsistent security practices and reactive decision-making. Cyber risks are not integrated into enterprise risk discussions, leaving leadership without a clear understanding of security threats and their potential business impact. A small business at this level may rely solely on ad hoc risk assessments, without integrating cybersecurity considerations into financial risk planning, supply chain management, or strategic business decisions. At the risk-informed tier, organizations begin to recognize cybersecurity as a business risk, ensuring that security risks are partially integrated into enterprise-wide risk discussions. However, cybersecurity risk management remains inconsistent across departments, and leadership may not receive comprehensive security risk reports. A mid-sized company at this level may conduct annual cybersecurity risk reviews, but lack real-time risk monitoring or structured frameworks for aligning cybersecurity risks with financial and operational priorities. At the repeatable tier, organizations establish structured cybersecurity risk management frameworks, ensuring that cybersecurity risks are formally assessed, documented, and integrated into enterprise-wide risk strategies. Leadership teams are actively engaged in cybersecurity risk decision-making, and security teams work closely with finance, compliance, and operations to assess and mitigate risks. A A financial institution at this stage may implement cyber risk quantification models, board-level cybersecurity risk briefings, and enterprise-wide security policy enforcement, ensuring that cybersecurity risks are prioritized alongside other business risks. At the adaptive tier, organizations use advanced risk analytics, AI-driven cyber risk modeling, and real-time threat intelligence to dynamically assess cybersecurity risks and integrate them into strategic decision-making. Cybersecurity risk management is fully embedded into enterprise risk management, allowing leadership to adjust risk tolerance levels, prioritize cybersecurity investments, and proactively respond to emerging threats. A global technology company at this level may use automated cyber risk dashboards, predictive risk modeling, and continuous security audits to maintain real-time visibility into cybersecurity risks and align security strategies with evolving business needs. Cybersecurity risk integration aligns with multiple controls in the National Institute of Standards and Technology Special Publication 800-53, ensuring that organizations implement comprehensive security risk management frameworks. One key control is PM-8, Enterprise Risk Management Integration, which requires organizations to embed cybersecurity risk considerations into broader enterprise risk assessments, strategic planning, and governance structures. A healthcare provider implementing this control may establish cross-functional risk committees, conduct cyber risk scenario planning, and align security strategies with patient data protection regulations. Another key control is PM-11 risk monitoring, which mandates that organizations implement continuous cybersecurity risk assessment mechanisms to identify, track, and mitigate evolving threats in alignment with enterprise risk management strategies. A financial services firm implementing this control may deploy cyber risk intelligence platforms, automate regulatory compliance tracking, and integrate security risk assessments into quarterly enterprise risk management reviews. Cybersecurity risk integration also aligns with PM-5 cybersecurity risk assessment policies, which requires organizations to develop, document, and enforce standardized policies for assessing cybersecurity risks as part of the broader enterprise risk management strategy. This control ensures that organizations establish clear methodologies for identifying, analyzing, and mitigating cyber threats, preventing fragmented risk management approaches. A manufacturing company implementing this control may develop structured cyber risk assessment policies that integrate security risk evaluations into supply chain management, operational risk reviews, and financial planning to ensure comprehensive cybersecurity oversight. These controls can be adapted based on organizational size, industry, and regulatory environment. A small business may implement basic cybersecurity risk assessments, ensuring that leadership receives periodic cyber risk reports and aligns security investments with financial risk planning. A large enterprise may deploy real-time cyber risk monitoring platforms, automated compliance tracking, and AI-driven threat intelligence, ensuring that cyber risks are continuously assessed and integrated into strategic business decisions. Organizations in highly regulated industries such as finance, healthcare, and critical infrastructure may require advanced risk governance frameworks, cross-functional cybersecurity committees, and executive-led cybersecurity risk oversight programs to maintain compliance with industry regulations and cybersecurity laws. Auditors assess cybersecurity risk integration by reviewing whether organizations have structured, documented, and regularly updated enterprise risk management frameworks that incorporate cybersecurity risk considerations. They evaluate whether organizations track cyber risks, align security risk assessments with financial and operational risk evaluations, and integrate cybersecurity governance into executive decision-making. If an organization fails to incorporate cybersecurity risks into enterprise-wide risk management frameworks, auditors may issue findings highlighting misalignment between security and business objectives, inadequate risk visibility, and weak cybersecurity governance. To verify compliance, auditors seek specific types of evidence. Enterprise risk management policies and cybersecurity risk assessment reports demonstrate that organizations formally define and document cybersecurity risk integration processes. Cyber risk dashboards and executive risk briefings provide insights into whether leadership teams actively engage in cybersecurity risk decision-making and prioritize cyber risk mitigation efforts based on business impact. Incident response reports and regulatory compliance audits show whether organizations continuously track and mitigate cybersecurity risks in alignment with business resilience strategies. A compliance success scenario could involve a financial institution that undergoes an audit and provides evidence that cybersecurity risks are fully embedded into enterprise risk management frameworks with structured risk assessments, board-level cybersecurity briefings, and executive-led security governance programs. Auditors confirm that cyber risks are continuously assessed, security policies align with enterprise objectives, and risk management efforts are proactive rather than reactive. In contrast, an organization that fails to integrate cybersecurity into enterprise-wide risk discussions or neglects structured cyber risk assessments may receive audit findings for lack of strategic cybersecurity governance, poor risk oversight, and insufficient alignment between cybersecurity policies and business risk management frameworks. Organizations face multiple barriers in implementing effective cybersecurity risk integration into enterprise risk management. One major challenge is executive misalignment, where leadership teams do not prioritize cybersecurity risks in business risk discussions, leading to inconsistent security investments and reactive security measures. Another challenge is lack of standardized risk assessment methodologies, where organizations fail to quantify cyber risks in financial terms, making it difficult for decision-makers to assess the business impact of security threats. A final challenge is poor collaboration between cybersecurity and enterprise risk teams, where security functions operate separately from financial, operational, and regulatory risk governance, reducing the effectiveness of cybersecurity risk mitigation strategy. Organizations can overcome these barriers by embedding cybersecurity risk assessments into enterprise-wide risk governance, ensuring that cybersecurity risk reporting is standardized, and leveraging AI-driven risk analytics to quantify cyber risks in business terms. Investing in automated risk intelligence platforms, predictive threat modeling tools, and integrated cybersecurity risk management frameworks ensures that organizations continuously assess cyber risks, align security strategies with business priorities, and enhance executive engagement in cybersecurity governance. Standardizing cybersecurity risk integration across departments, subsidiaries, and third-party vendors ensures that security risks are managed consistently, reducing exposure to cyber threats and improving overall business resilience. By embedding cybersecurity risk integration into enterprise governance, businesses improve risk visibility, strengthen regulatory compliance, and ensure sustainable cybersecurity management in an evolving threat landscape. That wraps up today's discussion on framework. Don't stop here. Head over to cyberauthor.me to explore more cybersecurity topics and discover a best-selling book covering NIST and other critical cyber frameworks. Please like, rate, and review this episode on Apple and Spotify. Until next time, remember that knowledge is power.